Yeah, I'm not doing too bad. You know, down here
Good.
in Monza, I'm really excited to see what the drivers can do. We've got a few reserve drivers starting from the back of the grid as well, so I want to see them cut through the field.
Yeah, 100%. We've got a full wet conditions here today at Monza, much the same as real life as well. So yeah, it's gonna be we're gonna see all of the cars out there on the blue tires, or the full wet tires as they're just setting off for their formation lap. But a very good evening to everybody who is tuning in. And yeah, hopefully you've all had a great day.
Anybody
Oh,
new
hold
to the
up.
league, this is hyper realistic, meaning all the weather settings in real life are being used in the current game as well. We're
Yeah,
pretty
and
much trying to match it one to one, yeah.
100%. And just a side note as well, we have I'm not going to say this too much, but we have fixed the graphics, so they shouldn't be laggy like yesterday either. And if we can have a look, let's go have a look at the previous wins here. I don't know if that's actually gonna. Oh no, maybe it's that one. There we go. Even though it
Previous
isn't.
poll by Max Chapman. Yeah, we don't actually have the
Doesn't
tally for that,
exist.
but
Oh
Season
well.
2, Max Chapman puts it on pole, starting a bit further back this time, last on the grid. So I'll be very surprised if we can do it again. Let's go on board with Josh Mayer for the start, P4. You know, not in a bad position at all. Um, However, I probably think he expected a little bit more from the qualifying session. But nevertheless, P4, good place to put his Red Bull and maybe carry the momentum through in the constructors.
Yeah, so it's obviously the first sprint weekend we have here. It's the second race of season 2.5 is what we like to call
Me
it.
and Josh Graphic.
And
Josh Graphic.
oh, are we supposed to play that graphic? Josh
Yeah.
Graphic.
Oh, Josh Graphic.
Whoa, that's so cool, man. Look, he's number 24 as well. Look at
Hell
that.
yeah, Josh.
That's
Starting P4.
sexy. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
And in
Right,
the
drivers coming
attendance
up
today,
now.
oh, that's the Bahrain Grand Prix. Never mind.
What are you doing?
It's fine.
Right, coming up to Parabolica, drivers are going to be lining up on the grid. For the race start, heading down into turn one, you know, you want to be gentle on the throttle here. It's full wet conditions, you know, pretty much no what has been cleared at all. The drivers just lined up, so standing water either
Yeah.
side of the grid, there's no real advantage starting anywhere.
No, not at all. As Ryan is already just. Oh no, these people are just disqualifying from the formation lap. It's all good. It's all good. The leaderboard will fix itself as we get this race underway. As Andre is the first one to stop there, followed by I'm not too sure what Joel's doing all the way back here at the minute, but I'm sure he will just go through Adam there and get into his placement. But yeah, they're going to be on quite cold tyres up at the front, although it is raining. So I guess tyre temperatures they
Turn
still
off the
matter.
name tags. Turn off the name tags.
I don't know how to do that.
Do you
Ah,
not just like, oh,
I've just
okay,
done that.
formation lap? I don't know.
It's fine. They've gone.
Right,
They've gone.
regardless, I think we're on board here with Forbes. Yes, we are. For the race start, I think we're
Yes.
just waiting for the grid to form up.
Certainly so. If we can have a little look further back at the grid. Oh, what's going on there? Ah, there we go.
Yeah,
As
just waiting
yeah,
for you
there's
to
just a
stop.
red ball of Max Chapman here, forming the last part of the grid before it will be lights out. There's only 13 laps in this sprint race before the full race will be tomorrow.
Of course, no pit stop mandatory, but it might be a good idea to do one. You know, you want to be on the fastest rubber, especially with a safety car, and you know, points to be gained here as well as the qualifying position.
Certainly so. As I just would like to somehow get a lights out. There we go.
Right, yes, the lights are coming on now. I think that's Abreu on P1, so he has to hope for a great start. Great in qualifying, and off we go.
Lights out and
Andre
away we
Abreu.
go.
Hell yeah, Andre Abreu heading down into turn one. I believe Joel Foxall might have got a little bit
Oh,
better start.
huge
And I
collision
think
there
there's
at the
some
back.
confusion in the back. Yes, Joel Foxall and Andre Abreu are going to be going side by side into turn
Virtual
one.
safety car almost instantly as Max Chapman there receives a 5-second time penalty. And yeah, instant virtual safety car there. I'm not too sure if that was too soon to call, but I believe that the back of the grid there had a huge collision, and that is a full safety car before the drivers even made it into turn one. So yeah, no one's disqualified, luckily. But that's yeah, it's Jesus, an instant safety car here, which isn't great for. It's obviously gonna shave off a few laps there of the sprint qualifying.
Yeah, looking at Alex Pica's whole front wing has gone, so he's going to have to box to get that repaired. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Like, there was a little bit of contact, but Ryan Harper, I think he might have gotten caught up in that. Is just coming around the first Lesma now.
Yeah, again, it would be good to get a replay of that if the functionality allowed us to, but that was definitely some squiggly racing there at the back of the grid. Unfortunately, as yeah, both the Aston Martin and the AlphaTauri, they're both without a front wing. I'm not too sure. Max did receive a penalty there, but I'm not too sure if he was involved or if he just got unlucky with that penalty.
Yeah, I do believe Max Chapman does not have any front wing damage as it currently looks like, so I don't think it was his fault. I think he might
Mhm.
have gotten a little bit of a better start, and they just caught, he just kind of went through the middle of the two drivers. They just kind of got caught up, didn't really expect it, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there.
No, not at all, as it looks like Callum just left the session there, but Joel did kind of benefit from that, actually. He's now moved up to P1 in front of Andre, with Josh now P3. So yeah, interesting to see some drivers like almost instantly make up those positions there, as it doesn't look like many drivers, apart from probably the AlphaTauri and the Aston Martin, to go in the pits and get their front wings repaired.
Yeah, of course, Silver drops back to P4, Josh moves up one place. And as we said,
Always
starts
a
are going to be
Haas.
critical at Monza. There's no DRS to aid overtaking, so Joel
Mhm.
Foxhall does that into turn 1, and he's going to keep P1 under safety car.
Yeah, as we see interestingly as well, both Max Chapman and Casper Meech are both going in the pits here. It looks like, yeah, there is some damage there on the front wing of Casper Meech, and potentially Max Chapman there as well with a new front wing. I believe so
Yeah, it
anyway.
does look like it, yes.
Lots of front wing changes. So yeah, I believe that the people in front of these two. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that
that was very close.
yeah, that's an interesting one. But yeah, hopefully these drivers are able to catch up with the pack before the safety car does get going again and goes in for all the drivers to continue their racing.
Of course, if anything, they've just benefited a little bit from that. You're already at the back of the grid, now you're just on some fresh rubber. Got a little bit of
Mhm.
higher advantage than everybody else, but, it is going to be a little bit hard to wear those tyres in, get a little bit of scrubbing on them, but that shouldn't really affect the drivers too much. So I think we're going to see maybe 1 or 2 more laps of the safety car, and I think that's going to resume racing.
Yeah, I believe that the safety car will go around once more, collect all the drivers at the back, and then it will go in. But yeah, it's obviously gonna. There's a 20-second gap between Max and Smits there, P13. Sorry, Casper and Smits there, P13 and P12, with Alex Peak, and I'm not sure who that is in the Aston Martin, but he is P16.
And then Ryan Harper going through, he has to catch up with the rest of the pack, which we should see quite soon, no problem. Heading up to Escari, the final few drivers at the back, obviously need to get their wings repaired, so it's not the fastest pit stop in the world, obviously with speed limiters as well, but yeah, drivers are looking like they are holding holding back quite nicely, not really challenging each other as per the 2022 regulations.
Yeah, exactly, and obviously Joel keeping quite a nice distance there, obviously between him and the safety car. He'll be doing the safety car restart, which will be hopefully at the end of this lap, but obviously DRS is disabled as well, so they won't be using that at all during this sprint race. And what's the weather, Casper, for tomorrow? Is there any sort of forecast for the weather tomorrow?
For the weather, I think, yeah, the current weather forecast is intermediate for the start of the race, but it's going to be a very quick transition into the dry.
Nice,
So,
okay.
qualifying on the dry, most of the race on the dry, so it's really difficult what setup you go for, because sure, this might be full wear, but it decides to grid for you tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly so. And obviously, like you say, if it's wet and then it's sort of turning dry tomorrow, then all the drivers are going to, it's all down to skill and sort of when they do pit to go onto those slick tyres. Because obviously that could be the make or break decision as to who wins the race tomorrow, obviously depending on the final results of sprint today.
Yeah, of course, and I think the final few drivers are joining. I think there's some collisions down in turn 1. I'm not quite sure what's happening there.
Let's go back a little bit here as...
Ryan Harper has spun in turn 1. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
Okay. Oh, Alex Peak just hit a wall.
Yeah, safety car will be in this lap, so there's a lot of pressure here on these drivers to make it up to the safety car if they haven't already.
Yeah, it looks like Joel's holding up a lot of the pack there as the safety car's going to be going into the pit stop. So Joel has, oh my gosh, look at the amount of cars there. That is absolutely incredible how close they are. Hopefully none of them come into collision. But yeah, it's all down to Joel as to when he goes green. We'll ride on board with Andre. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's some infringements from Josh O'Mara. They're riding side by side with Andre, so that's definitely going to be looked at. As for the 2022 regulations, you cannot drive alongside, but in the web, being P1 race restart is a lot more beneficial, and I think that's what we're going to see from Joel Foxhall.
Certainly so, as Joel has gone full green, and I think that caught Andre a little bit off guard there, as we have got the green flag with 10 laps to go, and we'll see what kind of shenanigans happen into turn 1 here.
Of course, hopefully it gets all kept nice and tidy. If there is any collisions, the safety car will not be redeployed. There has to be a certain amount of lap time gap for that to happen. But it looks like everybody's kept it nice and tidy. Josh O'Mara is
Yeah.
just gotten past and just kept ahead of Silver.
Yeah, he looked a bit sort of uneven there on the terrain, as it looks like that Alpine is really trying to get past Josh O'Mara as he's coming down into the chicane.
Oh.
As Ryan Harper has retired from the session. He is out of this Grand Prix, as Josh does lose quite a few places there, taking that off-road.
Yeah, he's pretty much down to P10. That's 7 places lost. It looks like Silver locked his wheels and couldn't turn at all. That was maybe a little bit too ambitious, a little bit too far back. So that's definitely going to have to be looked at.
Yeah, certainly so. As we can see, Max Chapman's already made up 4 positions, even after that one pit stop. And it looks like he's trying to eye up an overtake here down the straight. On the... I'm not sure why it says Robinson, but there is an AlphaTauri there that he's just overtaken. And now it's down to his teammate now to see if the Red Bull gives orders for them to swap over.
Yeah, and as he said that, Max Chapman makes another great overtake on Gomez. 5 places made now. So he's going to be catching up to his teammate Josh, which had the pretty poor restart off of that. Just unfortunate he got dive bombed. Might look like he has some damage, but Joel Fox will now set to the first pretty much benchmark lap of the race.
Yeah, certainly. So there's going to be no DRS sort of trains going on here today. But it does look like Callum has got quite a nice run here down the straight on Zach and Middlefell, but he's not brave enough to make a move there into turn 1, but there's more than enough potential into the next few turns.
Yeah, all the drivers keeping it nice and tidy for the most part, which is brilliant to see. Close racing, which is, you know, everybody's favourite. But it looks like Andre is slowly catching up onto Joel Fox, so a lot of lockups, not really, you know, being beneficial on these dry setups.
No, certainly so. I mean, there's obviously 2 free temps between the 2 of them right now. Andre did start P1 here in the sprint race. However, obviously, he did get a little bit unlucky with that safety car, and it's whether or not Joel can keep the pace and keep Andre off of his tail. Hassan, good evening as well. And yes, there's been lots of squiggly racing, as we've only got 8 laps left of this sprint Grand Prix. This is going to go by so quickly.
It has gone by really quickly, and there's a lot of position changes with Archie. 3 wide going into Ascari now. Callum looks like he's going to be leading the pack, and he makes it work through the middle of both the drivers.
Wow. Really great move there by Callum, as the Aston Martin there behind him, followed by the Mercedes, followed by the Williams of Adam Forbes, and then the Red Bull of Josh O'Mara. Not too sure what's happened with Chapman as well. He's back down to P11 there, so his next target will be Hikes.
Yeah, we're a little bit too focused on the group up front. Josh O'Mara and Ascari putting a brilliant move past Taylor Hume. Max Chapman, yeah, like you said, in P11, he just can't seem to get past.
Yeah, there's just lots of drivers here, as there's a Williams of Adam Forbes here, who's just going, almost wanted to go out around the outside there of Middlefell. Is he going to make this stick, or is he's going to hold off a little bit there for turn 1? A good decision there by Adam. He doesn't want any sort of collisions this early on. Especially
Josh O'Mara,
go ahead.
Yeah, side by side just behind them. When side by side with Taylor Hume, Max makes a move up into P10. Hikes has a little bit of a moment. And now, you know, the Red Bull guys need to really pick up the pace and try and push pressure on the front guys.
Yeah, certainly so, as we see Max Chapman here go side by side with Taylor Hume. He has made it stick though. He's giving Taylor enough room there round the outside, and
Taylor Hume's lost it.
Yes, I've just seen that in Max's rear view mirror there. Not a great. I'm not too sure if that, obviously Max's move put Taylor off, but he is now down into P13.
Yeah, we've had the yellow flag. I'm not quite sure for sector 3. I think that might have just been the spin there.
Yes.
Of Hikes, and he's down into P10. Not really lost too much, but yeah, the battle up front continues. And look at Callum, already made so many places up. Pretty much challenging for a podium already.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. We believe, I'm not too sure what Callum started, what, sort of P9, P10, I think today, and he's already up to P4. So yeah, absolutely incredible work by Callum, as he's now, it looks like he's actually making even more moves here on the AlphaTauri of Silver.
Joss is absolutely just trying to scrape anything that he can. He's, you know, not had the best start, but, you know, he's making up slowly now, back on the back of Adam Forbes. Adam Forbes on the back of Archie Middlefeld, who really needs to get past that Mercedes. It seems to be holding him up.
Yeah, it seems to be one. I'm not so sure if the Mercedes is slowing everybody down, but it's one of those things with wet conditions that you can only make certain moves stick, and you don't want to be sort of pushing the car too much in one direction for it just to cause you a spin, like we pretty much saw at the start of the sprint race today.
And look at that, Callum making a move past Silver, now into the podium places. 11 seconds behind the top two though, so he's going to have to make up a lot of ground, hope for a safety car. Maybe it might be a Ferrari 1-2.
Yeah, that would be awesome to see. Very matching the real life, obviously, Ferrari pace in this F1 game. But it's whether or not Andre is a very good defensive driver. He wants to keep that P2, obviously, or even move up to P1. But yeah, very great drive by Callum today. But he's really happy. Certainly, he had a little bit of a confidence knockdown in qualifying yesterday, but he's definitely got his confidence back today.
Alex Speak and Casper Mitra just trading positions back and forth through the Lesmo. Casper's eyeing a move up into the Ascari chicane, but it looks like he thinks the better of it and backs out.
Yeah, sorry, it's difficult. I'm just taking screenshots. It's difficult to flick back over to these drivers in the lower positions, as it looks like Hikes has just re-overtaken Max Chapman there, and Joel sets a new fastest lap.
It looks like Max Chapman might have had a very poor Ascari, especially the exit, just allowed Hikes pretty much to breeze past him, but Max is really dropping back on the pace. I'm not quite sure if he has damage. Yeah,
potentially. Oh, he's going in the pits, actually. It's only lap 7 as well, and he's in the pits. I'm not so sure if he's got maybe underside damage on his car. But yeah, that surprises me, really. So that will put Max Chapman at the back of the grid.
Yeah, that is very unlucky. We've had a spin, I believe that is by Gomez, on Ascari. Goes the yellow flag briefly, but not really too much of an effect. But yeah, that is unfortunate for Max Chapman. He's made so much progress, but he's pretty much lost it all now. Yeah,
no points for Max Chapman today. Potentially, there's still 6 laps left. However, it's the top 8 drivers that do get points today, running from P1, 8 points, all the way down to P8, who gets 1 point. So currently Red Bull are only on for 1 point this Grand Prix, if Josh can stick his P8 or even improve a few times.
Yeah, I just missed it, but I think Silva overtook McGrath back.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure when that happened, so Callum, he's desperately trying to get back that podium position. Looks like he's had a brilliant Ascari run. Compared to the Alpine, he's going to be using all of his ERS and try and get past into Parabolica. Yeah,
here we go. We'll ride on board with Callum now to see if he can get this move done on Silva. He's at the wrong side of the turn, so it might be on the exit out of here, down into turn 1, that he will get the move done. As Gomez retires from the session. Not too sure if that's going to cause any sort of virtual safety cars, but that is the second retirement of this Grand Prix.
McGrath goes side by side with Silva now going down into turn 1. It looks like Silva's actually running lower, much lower wings. He's got a lot more straight line speed, but side by side they go into turn 1. And I think they're going to keep it nice and tidy. Callum thinking the better of it and not sticking it around the outside.
Sorry, I was just having a drink there. It looks like Josh is actually very closely following one of those Williams there. I've just seen that 100th of a tenth, 100th of a second as he makes that move done on Adam. Gosh, I can't get my words out today. As he spins out, giving Adam a chance to come back, actually. But I'm not too sure if he's claims that position there.
Yeah, brilliant move by Josh. Outbraked Adam by what looked like miles. Yeah, it's a very good racing from Josh. Finally getting past for Williams. He's been stuck behind him. Oh, and Adam Forbes. Massive snap of oversteer on the exit on the second Lesmo. But yeah, now Josh finally gets past for Williams. Now he can try and make his way up through the field.
Exactly. So great save there by Adam Forbes. The William garage will be happy with it. He saved the car on that one. But yeah, it seems to be sort of ironing itself out here. As there's only sort of a few more laps to go. I kind of want more laps, Casper, to be honest with you. It seems like the race is only just getting started.
Yeah, it is just for sprint qualifying. Wait for the actual race. DRS, more opportunity, strategy. Exactly. That's where it's going to get spicy. But yeah, it looks like Silva has gotten past McGrath once again. Look, running those much lower wings on Monza seems to be very beneficial.
Yeah, as well. And Mr. Dirk Chocolate is coming in with a raid of 40 people. Dirk, you're an absolute legend. You know it. Thank you very much for the raid. And you join us as there's only 3 laps left of this Sprint Grand Prix round here at Monza. But yeah, thank you. Hopefully you had a good stream, buddy.
Callum McGrath still trying to claw back that podium position. After his disappointment in the first weekend, this would be like an absolutely great achievement for the Ferrari driver. Start bringing the points in for Ferrari to win the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, 100%. As obviously Callum did start in P9, P10 today. As Max Chapman goes ahead and sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But yeah, sort of Callum's definitely the driver of the day at the moment, in my opinion, making up so many places. And yeah, he's doing a great job, and hopefully, I'm not too sure if he will be able to get Silver's position there. But yeah, it could be two Ferraris on the podium for this sprint
Adam
Grand Prix.
Forbes making a move on Archie Middlefeld. Looks like in the second decimal it will work. In fact, it's opened an opportunity for Hikes as well. Running down into the Escar chicane, and he just blows past him. I think Archie thought better of it. Backed out there. But yeah, the racing continues.
Yeah, exactly. Almost side by side here, coming into this chicane. Yeah, sorry, I just...
Still got COVID.
Yeah, COVID hasn't gone yet, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll get better soon. I'm sure we will. As yeah, Max Chapman down there in P13. He's had already 2 pit stops this sprint race. Very unlucky for him with Smits P14, and then Casper Meech running in P10.
Yeah, check the top 8, top 9. They're all just fighting for that position. Any point matters here, and you know this decides the grid for the main race on Sunday as well. So it is very beneficial. And it looks like there's been some contact between Adam Forbes and Hikes there.
Yeah, definitely slowing down a little bit too much there into turn 1. Caught one of the drivers a little bit off guard. But yeah, it's Adam's trying to clear a little bit of space here between himself and the Alfa Romeo behind him as Max Chapman goes even quicker again. So yeah, we can see the true pace of Max Chapman, but he's definitely not where he wants to be in this sprint race, all the way at pretty much at the back.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate for him. He made, you know, so much places up, but then just got that wing damage. It was really unfortunate for him after making so much progress. But yeah, I think Callum is still trying to grab back that podium position, not letting it go. But he's got limited time to do so as we come to the closing stages of the Grand Prix. Sorry, I was also on a drink break there.
That's all good, no worries. Yeah, it's just nice to hear some of the sounds of the F1 cars going by sometimes. There's lots of, I can't believe how many attendees there are today actually out here in the rain supporting their teams. But yeah, hopefully, obviously they'll all be back tomorrow for the full Grand Prix. This time tomorrow.
Of course, the adrenaline's high. This short season, you know, you want to make every point you can. So supporting your team in every single race is very important. And looks like the grid is becoming slightly more spread out as we come to the closing stages of the Grand Prix. Callum, he misses the turn-in for the first chicane. It's going to be a 3-second time penalty, but I think that's going to get removed. He gained no time. Still behind Silver.
Yeah, we'll bring that one up to the stewards afterwards. But yeah, it doesn't look like he gained any time on that. In fact, he lost quite a chunk there with that move. So yeah, that will probably be retracted. However, yeah, a bit of a disappointment there for Callum. Obviously coming to the final races, but he doesn't look like he'll miss out on his 4 points here for the sprint race.
Alex Peak goes past Casper Meech quite easily. Oh, and Casper misses braking point. He's going to have to go off the track. That might be a penalty or a warning, but yeah, he doesn't get anything, so it's not going to be an issue at all.
No, yeah, again, the drivers, maybe these tyres are, you know, they're not great. Certainly sort of 12 laps in here, they've already had a safety car taking them round. But yeah, maybe the tyres are slowly giving up on them. There might be even more sort of rain on the track now. You'd think it starts sort of drying up, but that rain still looks like it's very heavily coming down. It's obviously in the closing stages of this, as most of the drivers are sort of, you know, a good second gap between each other. We've got Middlefell here and Hikes, probably the closest 2 drivers. But yeah, everyone's sort of, you know, they're all in their little bubbles at the moment.
Of course, final lap of the Grand Prix now, and Joel Vauxhall and Andre, not more than a second separates the 2 drivers heading into the final lap. But I think it's too far for Andre. I don't think he can really do anything here, and no ERS to his disposal. Not close enough to launch a move anywhere. But there is a back marker coming up, so that might get interesting.
Yeah, it's whether or not that AlphaTauri will he's got the blue flag there from the marshal, so hopefully he will know that Joel, yeah, he's gone to the side there, let both the drivers pass. Great sportsmanship there by that driver. As we see Andre almost lose his rear there going through that turn. But yeah, he's I'm not too sure if this is enough for Andre to get that podium finish.
Yeah, if anything, I think the closest here, who's probably going to make an overtake, is Casper Meech, as I say, that heading down into the second chicane on Alex Peak. No points to gain, but definitely a position to get put on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, every position counts here, as all the AlphaTauri just going over the bumps there of Alex Peak. That cost him that position. And obviously, yeah.
Oh, and Callum's got past.
Oh, yes.
I'm not quite sure what happened there. I think it might have been a very bad exit from Silver. I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. Silver might have just had a really bad entrance or exit out of the chicane. But yeah, Callum will be absolutely buzzing with that as he comes round the final straight. Joel Foxall does indeed set the pole position for tomorrow, followed by Andre, and Callum's just coming around the final stretch here with a very close Alpine just behind him.
Yeah, of course. And look at this. Hikes maybe looking for Adam to make a mistake, a little bit of a slip, but it's not going to happen. He's going to have to settle for that last point in P8. And Callum moves down the order. I think that penalty is going to get removed though, so that isn't really an issue.
Yeah, certainly so. We will obviously confirm that with you guys after the race as Max Chapman's just entering the final sector here as Alex Peake crosses the line. And Max Chapman does still seal the fastest lap of the race. That's not going to get many extra points though. It's only the top 8 drivers that will get points. Followed by Taylor Hume, who did pick up a good fight. He had one little issue sort of midway through the Grand Prix, which dropped him back a few positions. And then Smits there just finishing up the back of the pack in P14.
Yeah, some drivers are going to be satisfied with that. Others are going to be absolutely furious. Max Chapman had such a good start, all ruined by a little bit of touching. So that's not going to really benefit him in his favour for Sunday, you know, starting near the back. Probably not something he wanted, but yeah, Joel Foxall is going to be your pole sitter for Sunday, race winner of the sprint qualifying.
Yeah, exactly that, and some happy faces, some sad faces. But yeah, the start of this Grand Prix was certainly one that we'll definitely want to go and watch back and find out exactly what happened, if there was a driver that stalled, or yeah, I'm not too sure. But yeah, there is the positions there for tomorrow, providing obviously Callum in P3 there, Joel and Andre on the front row of the grid, followed by Crookie, Zach, followed by Callum, Crookie, Zach, Josh, Adam Hikes, Archie, Casper, Alex and Max, and then Taylor and Bomzai with the disqualified drivers at the back of the grid.
What a race it was. Might have been a short one, but it was definitely a good one. Plenty of overtakes, you know, plenty of opportunities created, and what grid it's going to be for Sunday. You know, Callum putting it P3, splitting the 2 Alpines, Ferrari, Alpine, Ferrari, and another Alpine for the top 4. So it's going to be definitely a constructor battle, this one.
Yeah, obviously below at the moment, Max Chapman is currently in the lead of the driver constructors. But yeah, Joel's obviously got those 8 points today, which means that Joel that moves Joel up to P1 in the driver constructors championship, making him, I believe, 20. This is quick math here. 26 points. He'll be 1 point ahead of Max Chapman at the moment in the driver constructors, with Dylan in P3.
Of course, and obviously Joel starting on P1 tomorrow as well. A lot of points you know, a lot of points up for grabs for him, starting on pole position. Max Chapman starting a little bit further back, so I'm going to be honest, I think Joel Foxall out of this Grand Prix is going to be leading the championship.
Yeah, certainly so, and I don't know, do you want to get driver interviews, or should we wait for that for tomorrow?
I think we can grab 1 or 2. I think I'd definitely grab Callum. Yeah, I'll
of course, yeah, we can go and have a word with Callum, and then yeah, if any of you guys are heading out as well, we'll be live tomorrow for the full Grand Prix around here at Monza, which is starting off wet, but it will turn dry tomorrow at 19:30 UK time for the full Grand Prix.
Well, I'm here with Callum from, I believe it was P9 on the grid, all the way up to P3. Obviously, those penalties will have to be assessed, but I'm pretty confident it's going to be a P3. So, Callum, hello.
Hi. Yeah, I mean, great recovery drive. It wasn't what we were expecting, but pulled off a couple neat moves. Got lucky at the end there. Crookie going wide onto that gravel gave me an opportunity down the inside, down the DRS straight towards Ascari. But you know, F1 is all about who finishes first. So, you know, you've got to be in it to win it.
Yeah,
absolutely nothing to lose there. Starting pretty much a disappointment in Q2, crashing out, being P11. You know, just barely missing out on Q3. So I think that's definitely made up for it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a big disappointment yesterday. The worst thing was that the people knocking me out of Q3 didn't actually participate today, but, you know, I won up them. It should be Ferrari front and second row tomorrow, facing against both of the Alpine drivers, so it might be an interesting start tomorrow.
Right, Ian, you have anything to add?
Just other than a great drive, Callum, I think you, if there was a driver of the day for the Sprint Grand Prix, you'll definitely have my one, because, yeah, so many positions gained, and a really good comeback and a confidence boost from yesterday. So, yeah, well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, I'll go grab one more driver.
No problem. Oh, I really need to. This COVID needs to go away now. Hello, Josh.
Hello, Ian.
Welcome. Josh, so, I mean, to be honest with you, that was also a good comeback drive from you because you didn't have a great start, but you did make up the positions, sort of through the latter part of the sprint, and I'm sure that Max Chapman will be happy with your progress, I suppose, back through the grid. Are you happy with today, or could you have wanted it better?
My start at the start of the race was fine. Like, I actually got through turn 1 clean enough until the VSC and then the safety car. Didn't get any damage, but I after that, then when the safety car was finished, into the second chicane, I believe is it Crikey what it do or something, locked up into the chicane, and I had no choice then. Just like I had to turn in, but he was on my inside. But I had to obviously cut the chicane then and drop down to P10. But yeah, the comeback drive was pretty good. I enjoyed some of the moves, and yeah, hopefully I get the podium in tomorrow.
Yeah, certainly so. And I'll go ahead, Casper.
Yeah, a bit unlucky on that lock up there from a silver down the inside. I did actually see that. I pretty much know where to go, so that was just a little bit unfortunate, dropping back, I think 7 positions it was. But nevertheless, a very good comeback drive, and all the best for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Right, I think I'll go grab Joel, and
Okay.
I think that'll be it.
We can end off with Joel. Yeah, of course, no worries.
Right, Joel Foxhall, first pole technically of the Kenco F1 series, multiple race wins, no poles, and here we are for the first one. Hello.
Hello, yeah, great result obviously. Very happy. Me and Andre definitely pushed each other to a different level today, I'd say. He definitely kept very close within my mirrors and kept me on edge, but the pressure never got to me and it pushed me forward, so yeah, I'm really happy.
It definitely looked like from the commentary box like it was Max Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton, you know, pulling away over 10 seconds from the rest of the grid. So absolutely great racing. So yeah, you're leading the championship now, the driver championship by 1 point. Are you hoping to carry that momentum through?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously with Max starting, I'm not sure where he finished, I think it was like maybe P12, I'm not too sure, but he obviously has the pace to get back through the grid, and Monza is definitely a place where you can overtake, especially into turn 1. So I'm not going to rule out Max still for a race win, but I'm definitely going to say that starting on the P1, I'm going to try my best to make a gap, and maybe me and Andre will push each other again and just form a big gap, and maybe Max won't be able to catch up. But we can't rule Max out, we can't rule Andre out, we can't rule anyone else out, because, you know, who knows. But obviously the plan for tomorrow is keep consistent, and that's definitely where I'm best, so maybe the win will come.
Of course, F1, anything can happen. Ian, do you have anything to add?
Other than the safety car was like the quickest one I've ever seen, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, yeah, ow. No, I don't really have much else to say. Sorry, I've got a cramp.
Yeah. Right, I think that concludes the sprint qualifying session then. Points awarded to the top 8. We still need the steward's decision on a Callum McGrath, who I think should be in P3. But yeah, I think that concludes it for sprint qualifying.
Yeah, again, honestly, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, Dirk, for the massive host earlier. And we will see you all tomorrow back at 7:30 for some more wet/dry Monza for the full Grand Prix to find out who does get pole position. But yeah, have a lovely evening, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.